Okay, so that's set up. Freddy would do it in a minute. It's not Freddy, I'll tell you that. I am trying to get a hold of him. His DMs are not open, unfortunately, but Freddy is probably the one I want to interview the most. I think personality-wise, he just reminds me like a lot of my friends. I'd want to hang out with him. How long have you been Jewish for? Bro. Talk about the prosthetics, goddammit. Fuck you, little toughie. Frig off, little toughie. Also, I don't know if you guys have been following Slacker Blue on Twitter. Slacker Blue. But he had some information dumps the other day. Yeah, so they were actually sent a notice prior to season 4 saying like if you stream in this house, we're going to shut it down. So they kind of went ahead with doing it anyways. Which was probably, I don't know why, like, I know it's probably pretty easy for people to say like, oh, like Jed is a fucking idiot, how could he have done that? But if we're being like as charitable as possible here, I'm sure it's an expensive production, things were already in play, and it was too expensive and too risky, and they would have to push things back for them to like switch houses, so they gambled. And maybe in hindsight you can say the gamble was a bad idea. And then if you see here on this tweet, as soon as the show started, they began receiving fines every day in the amount of $300 until it shut down. And this is like the notices from every day that they got that they were being fined $300. So if you're wondering what the lore is on why it got shut down, because I still think some people are a little confused about that because they're not very open about it. What I gather, it's just straight up a zoning issue. They were doing what the city saw as like commercial filming in a residential area. So I think that's literally just that's it. That's the reason, and they just went along with it anyways. And then when you pile on all the complaints that they got, which they got a lot, and like PETA or whatever, fucking Animal Rights Society came to them for the chicken incident in season 2, like all that stuff, I think just over time, it just kind of ran them out of town essentially. So. And if you're enjoying the clips from the stream, please like, share, comment, all that nonsense. As well, if you want to call in on the next call-in stream, which is going to be happening Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, all at night, 8 p.m. EST most likely. I'll probably be doing it on that schedule. And all you got to do is join the Discord. You can find the link in the description. Walk into that waiting room, voice chat, wait for me to pull you in one at a time to talk to either me or some esteemed guest I happen to get for the show. Back to the video. What happened to the season 3 full compilation you were talking about? I had a version of it. I had a version of the definitive edition of season 3 that I tried to go upload. It was, how long was it? Oh man, I want to say it was like 35 hours long. And then YouTube told me that the video is too long. So then I would have to break it up. And then, I don't know, I think I got distracted. I honestly forgot about it, but it's somewhere. It exists. I actually have it on a hard drive. So there's that. Into part 1 and 2. Yeah, I guess I could do that. I should probably do that. I will do that. I will do that. Sorry, continue. This is so infuriating.
I was gonna ask, from season 4, which was your favorite fish?
Favorite fish is Freddy, for sure. Freddy just, but it's just because like I feel like he acts like a lot of people I know and people that I grew up with. So I feel like it would just like it would just be easy for me to get along with him, I think. Like
yeah, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean like his complete chaos once like the night happened was like great. And I think a lot of maybe they were playing it up or whatever, but like a lot of people in the house I feel like didn't really understand that he was like doing bits even though he was drunk and like it up.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of the point of the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
See, what I like about Derenc is that she was like a very competitive person, and those like those type of characters in the show tend to be like all my favorites usually, or some of my favorites. Like season 2, Taylor. Like Taylor was ferocious. She would like there was no quitting that girl, and that's what I liked about her. That's what I liked about. I would say like I know even though he complained a lot towards the end, fucking oh man, I don't even remember his name. The Indian dude from season 3. Chat, what's the Indian guy from season 2? Bro, Symbol. Yeah, Symbol. Yeah, dude, Symbol. I like Symbol during challenges. Like no one was beating him. Like he put 100% into the challenges, and that's what I liked about Derenc. She put 100% into challenges, and there like if you were going to win, you had to take it from her. And on top of that, she didn't give a fuck about the money. Like she was just there. Okay, well, hold on. I think I'm gonna switch that. She was just there for, you know, the love of the game, so to speak, to test herself and push herself to the limit. So that's what I liked about her. She was ferocious. You would have to pry it out of her fucking hands if you wanted to win. And she didn't give a fuck about the money. She was just there for the sport of it. So that's what I liked about her.
Okay, that's true. That is true.
And listen, I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say about her looks, her physical. I'm not gonna go there. I think if anyone had a fucking 8K camera hyper zoomed in on them, they'd probably look pretty unflattering too. I'm gonna caveat what I'm about to. I'll caveat what I'm about to say with that, but it was also very funny every time they zoomed into her big head. It was very funny. It's undeniable.
I was gonna ask like two things. So Rachel, do you actually see? I'm quite confused because at the time I didn't actually see a lot of people talking about. I wouldn't say that she's highly intelligent, but there's tinges of her that I get. I don't know if they're learned mechanics. I don't know what is particularly going on, but she actually uses like quite funny and quite obvious to some people, like quite scary manipulation.
I know someone, my aunt actually, she's exactly like Rachel. And so in her case, like the only, like she's not, I mean, listen, I have nothing against her personally, but she's not a particularly smart person, I'll say that. And the only way she ever like learned to get attention, and she is someone that requires quite a bit of attention, is to like be in some kind of drama where people have to carry, you know, come and carry her and give her a hug, and she's hysterically crying. So it's just.
I know the full term of histrionic before her. So is what that's about specifically?
I don't know what that term means, to be frank with you.
Yeah, I've just heard it a lot, specifically referring to her as histrionic.
Histrionic personality disorder, HPD, is a mental disorder condition marked by unstable emotions, a distorted self-image, and an overwhelming desire to be noticed. Yeah, that's my aunt. People with HPD often behave dramatically or inappropriately to get attention. Yeah, she probably does, yeah. My aunt and Rachel.
Center of attention, seductive or productive behavior, shifting,
shifting shallow emotions, uses appearance to draw attention. Oh my god, this is literally like, oh my god. Impressionistic and vague speech, dramatic or exaggerated emotions, suggestible, easily influenced by others. Oh my god. Thinks relationships are closer than they are. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, that's crazy. Thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, it might have been the pills too.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are on a lot of pills, and it completely changes them as individuals, unfortunately. So, yeah, like I know people, like a few people, not even just like young people, like people your age, let's say, but like, you know, like people in my family, let's say, they're on like antidepressants and shit, and they tell me kind of like how it makes them feel, and it's like, it's up, dude. And then you try to get off of them, and you get like electric shocks through your body, and you like just.
The drugs she was on specifically that they were talking about, like things like Seroquel, and Xanax, you know, those drugs those end up being drugs. I know Seroquel's not as a drug of addiction, but it's just overprescribed like a lot. These drugs do cause like huge recursive like.
Yeah. Do you have any Fishtank opinions? Anything life related that you wanna talk about? Lay it on me, brother.
I really just I feel like a lot of people are coming in talking about a lot of Fishtank stuff. I really wanted to talk to you about more YouTube type stuff.
Sure.
Do you feel like you're stuck in like a Fishtank scene?
A little bit.
That you want to deviate from?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Number one, I'm gonna be open and honest about this. I don't want to be making Fishtank recaps for the rest of my life. Not that I don't enjoy doing it, or I don't enjoy the connection it's brought me to the fans, or like that's not for that reason, just like creatively.
What I think about every single video I watch of yours is that I'm like, dude, what else are you doing?
Nothing.
Like
nothing.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I think about. And then it's like whenever the Fishtank season ends, And then I recently looked at like your other videos, and I felt bad because I was looking at a couple of them. They were really well done, but they got like, like a fifth of the views of like literally just you posting clips going on in Fishtank, and I kind of felt bad.
Yeah, well,
And
here's the thing. I could actually give a bit of an explanation for that. It was actually a little bit my fault, a little bit my editor's fault, actually. WayHub, mother, taking a break. Listen, okay, this is a little bit what happened. After Bloodgames, because basically after a season ends, I get a lot of momentum, obviously. After Bloodgames, I posted 2 videos that did like over 100K each, or close to, at least for one of them. On Gavin McInnes was one of them, and then the other one was on Opie and Anthony. So both performed extremely well. I got like a lot of new followers from it. And like it was those 2 videos I had brought in an editor for, and I'm like, oh, this is going good. Okay, I can make these long form content pieces that I actually enjoy doing, that I want to do in the off season, and then do Fishtank, and then eventually try to transition into doing like the long form edit type shit. By the end of season 3, it was like Christmas time, and I'm just in life, and because of YouTube, because I have like a day job too. I don't know if you guys know that.
for sure.
But I was just so burnt out. I was like, I need a break, and it's Christmas time. Let me take some time off. Then I took time off, came back, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to hit the ground running. And then my editor was like, I'm on my last semester of school. I need to finish this, which is like, obviously I have to let him do that. I love my editor. He's awesome. So, yeah, so it was like a confluence of like me taking time off plus being less staff. It just made my release schedule like take longer than it should have. And then I was doing the Donald Trump videos, which just took a ton of research, way more than I expected. So it was like all those things together. It just led to, because YouTube promotes quantity over quality, to be honest with you.
I've had a theory running ever since the first reveal.
Okay.
I can see through the veil of production of what their goal was.
Okay.
And I mean, what you're buying. I think this season was meant to be like a victory lap. As we're gonna hit house 1, we're gonna hit house 2, we're gonna hit house 3. All 3 houses, and then we're gonna be just done with the house era, I guess. Is like, did you see that? Did you get that vibe? Or?
Yeah, I definitely did. I think there's probably a pretty legitimate reason why they brought Letty and Daniel back in the first house. It seemed like they were going to transition houses. Jet had mentioned, I think in the investor call, that there's like a pretty big twist coming at the end of the first act, which was probably going to be season 2 house, then season 3. I'm assuming, and I would assume probably too that they kind of had the inclination that there's a possibility of them shutting down. So swapping houses during production might be like a good way to like avoid the law, so to speak.
I want to talk about a fish that not a lot of people have been bringing up. He's
Ooh.
the biggest disappointment to me this season.
Okay, I think I know where you're going. Wait, before, I was gonna guess, but that's who I was gonna guess.
No.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, I don't think he's a bad person. Let me start off by saying that, because here's the thing. Well, I often talk about like fish or like people on the show or whatever, and I forget that a lot of them listen to me. So like I'm talking because I'm just talking and I'm not really thinking they're listening, and I don't, I won't caveat things, but I actually do like Daniel. But if we're talking about him as like a contestant, he had his moments. I'll say he had his moments for sure. Like when
he did, but he came in with more energy than he showed throughout the show.
Yeah. I think the show just kind of got to him, and I think how could I say this? I think he's pretty susceptible to suggestion, and TTS would with him a lot, telling him to do things, and then I think that kind of just like it kind of put him on edge constantly,
I think the problem is he wasn't as manipulative as he thought he was, and also he wasn't as autistic enough to take things literally as Arya.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I know he got billed as being like pretty autistic by the intro and everything, and the trailer they had released.
I thought Arya and Daniel were going to be autism gold.
Yeah.
They turned out to be just hilarious.
Yeah, but like, Daniel, outside of like the lisp and like the posture, like he's just kind of socially awkward. But like, there's not like he's if you talk to him, he's a normal person though. You know what I mean? He's not like Arya, where it's like he very clearly has autism.
I have to say, was it Jerry that Seth was? They kicked out Seth and brought in Jerry, but it was the same guy.
They didn't kick him out, but yeah.
That was the most interesting change for his character.
So good.
I thought Seth was in the room until he became Jerry.
Yeah, I think that's like a very odd part about the show that I don't think a lot of people, like a lot of viewers, I don't think understand that like as production, as some people producing the show, like it is all like, yes, people have to come on the show and be interesting. That is their job. But it's a very weird situation for those people to be in. So part of production's job is to try and like pull that something out of them and figure out what that is. And that was Seth's trigger to be interesting. And like that's probably the reason why he was put on the show, because he was interesting and they needed to break him out of his shell, and giving him the character, giving him, you know, the mask, so to speak, to hide behind, really helped him out.
Oh yeah, that's why I was so disappointed with how it ended, because everything was starting to shape up into something. You had Drench and Freddy fighting over top spot, basically, but they also had like unresolved sexual tension beneath them. You want to talk about the Joker to the Batman? No, it's Freddy and Drench, and then you've got Arye over here. He's the Joker. He's the Clayface that's gonna wander in and, oh, how'd you try to kill Batman? I threw a rock at him.
Trying to be super fast and also super good. I like giving myself health problems and stuff, so I totally relate to what you're talking about. It's actually really difficult.
Well, I if I can just, I mean, I guess it's kind of weird to talk about making Fishtank recaps to people, but what I found is health is less important for me personally. I found that health less important, speed is the most important. If you're just first, you get the most views and the most money. So I found that out pretty quick. And I found that, at least for me, what worked for me was I could say, I could skip over something and be like, this thing, who cares? It's Rachel, she's crying and who gives a, you know, I could like make a joke out of like me. I didn't really pay attention to the segment. You know what I mean? So like I started finding little ways to like, like put a blanket over things to like hide it from people that like maybe I had to make dinner or something. You know what I mean?
I am actually really surprised that they did not do this on this season. And I wonder how much money they're leaving on the table. And that is just not having nearly as many overtly attractive girls. Like, season 3 had a plethora of extremely attractive girls. And the amount of, okay, I'm not going to say they're extremely attractive, but they were attractive enough to where all these simps are spending $500 on a stuffed animal, like, constantly. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Like, I don't know how these people are able to do this, if they're just credit card scamming, but I'm not saying it would make the show better. I'm just saying I feel like they could make so much more money by just getting at least 3 to 4, 7 or above like hot girls every time for at least some amount of time. That's just so much money.
I mean, I think there's a reason why Peyton lasted as long as she did in season 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because she was hot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember how old she is now. That might be kind of weird. We'll erase that.
What do you think about Bloodgames? Do you think this now pushes the timetable on Bloodgames?
It's not happening this year. It's not happening this year.
Oh my god, that sucks. I've heard people talk about that. But yeah, I mean, I guess since that it's not happening, dude, Alex was supposed to be on Bloodgames. Like he would pretty close out there. He was gonna go flight to Boston, my place, and then dude, I was gonna have a chance to not like be on the thing, but at least like
show up and
sheep herding Alex. And then if he gets a boot, which I was like, and if you get booted early, which you know the Morrow treatment, hope to God it doesn't happen, but if you got the Morrow treatment, you could bounce to my crib and then fly home or whatever. But now the cat's in the bag, it's not happening. I guess none of that's happening now.
Yeah. In case of, if you know the answer, don't give me the real answer, because I don't want to f things up for them if the production, if they have, you know, I'm kind of eating off them, so I don't want to like their shit up. But if Alex, like, what type of RPG character would you give Alex be?
I think definitely not primary antagonist, because that's like a Duke, Xavier, even like Jimmy has like a lot of, bring Jimmy back as like the judges, you know what I mean? Other people have more clout to be the main pro tag, but he was definitely going to be a minor pro tag at least. That's.
I think. Well, I meant more like character sheet. Like what is RPG? I actually now now that I'm thinking about it, I think you'd probably do like you'd have to be like a fist fighting monk. I think that's probably.
Yeah. When I said pro tag, I meant ant tag. He was going to be an ant tag.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean, yeah. I love Alex B, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he even knows that he was going to be the heel.
Yeah.
Be the face.
Bro, him.
I love that concept was brought in so soon in this current season.
Yeah, him and Xavier, that would have been very funny.
I feel like Xavier would brain break him. I'm almost afraid of what would happen.
I think Alex would just be confused most of the time, to be honest with you.
How's this guy know everything about?
Dude, Alex is so funny. I love him.